So my question is really, about this kind of third way that Dr. Sabat talks about, and what that really looks like. I mean, you mentioned drug courts, but so my question is for individuals that are like smoking in People's Park, like occasionally, and they get stopped by the police. What should happen to them? Because we know that most people that use alcohol do not have alcoholism. And so, similarly with marijuana, a lot of people that use it don't have marijuana use disorders. So, is it a good use of our resources to bring them into drug court, to, involve them in the system? We know that these are usually people of color, or poor people that may not be able to afford to.
Right. So let me address this in two ways. I'll address it quickly on the big picture and then let Kevin address your specific question. The big picture is risk and harm, risk and benefit, so to speak. When you think about the risk that I want to address too, that the war on drugs has been a war on people. And then you marry that against the risk that you're going to start a whole new commercial industry that's going to have kids targeted and more kids use. I think we've got a much bigger harm with mass marketing marijuana as the answer to address the first harm, which is that, oh my God, we're incarcerating these people. So I think we ought to put our attention on how do we address this incarceration issue. But what we've done is we've used that, we've exploited that to say, throw up your hands, let's legalize it. The consequences be damned, because you cannot look at the public health impact of legalizing marijuana and honestly continue to sit there and tell me that that impact is a better result than the adverse result of the current policy. You cannot honestly tell me that you think that the exposure to kids, like we've seen tobacco and alcohol, you've seen how they target kids. Okay? If you don't think that's happening with marijuana, we're going to have an expansion of use. We see now today, marijuana is used more than cigarettes in school. If that's not shocking to you, as a consequence of this policy towards legalization, that to me is a huge harm. Okay? So while we both agree that we don't want people to go to jail for using a couple of joints, what do we do in response to that same desire? I think that's where we part ways, because I think what we ought to be doing is finding ways to address that specifically without creating a whole other unintended consequence. And frankly, I worry about the notion that it's unintended, because the people who are financing this movement know full well what they're going to get. And they're going to get an industry that is going to promote and market this as harmless, just like they've done with alcohol and tobacco, and we know otherwise, that it isn't harmless. It's got huge impacts on our public health and on our developing brain.